Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
Oh, I'm Ben. I was going to do something funny and then I held off at the last minute.
Did you get scared?
Yeah, I did.
What were
I
you
thought,
gonna do?
this will be funny, and it's like, no, it won't. I was going to do a sound effect from Friday the 13th, but it would have just sounded shit, so I left
We're going
it.
to go,
Yeah, but I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered in the end. I
that's
pulled
sad
out
times.
at the last minute.
And that's what we do here on Film Busters.
We pull out at the last minute.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's how you end up with a child. So you're not very good at it.
Yeah, Paul's
I'm
pull-out
bad.
game is not strong. Paul is lazy. He's like, I'm not pulling it out. I'm leaving it right there.
Mark my spot.
This is crude.
This is Film Busters.
Jason X rated.
Jake X-rated.
You spent too much time before your reference, and I try and title our podcast like that.
Oh, that was fantastic. Jason X-rated.
Boys, how did you feel about having to come into the slasher world for this week's episode?
I've only been
We've never done a
world
slasher.
before. We did
Oh,
Halloween.
yeah, we done Halloween.
Okay, all right. Well, an old slasher then.
I was very happy to walk into the fire.
Oh, good.
Much better than Martyr's World.
Well, you can't reveal nothing.
Well, I
You
mean, it's a
forget the whole
nicer
format.
world to explore. Then a straight up. Oh, let's not talk about this.
This cheeky, foolish man.
He's trying to get straight into the review already. We haven't even done the quiz.
Oh,
I
this
know.
is my favourite part.
Right, so before we get to the quiz, we have a beautiful thing to say. We featured on the For Your Reference podcast talking about District 9. We had a great time.
It was lovely. It was great to be with them again, eh?
We had
It
another
was.
very in-depth conversation.
We did!
We always go in deep. We never go surface here.
No,
We
always
didn't
the
go
deep.
surface with them.
Never.
And it was a very early morning start for us. We haven't recorded a podcast in the morning for many, many a year.
I know, we
We
tried to
haven't,
stay away
no.
from it. Adam's so tired in the mornings.
Aren't we all?
It's been a long time since my alarm actually woke me up in the morning. Normally I just wake up naturally, but this time the fucking alarm went off because I had to get up for that. It was so early. But it was worth it.
It was totally worth it. And you can actually check that episode out right now. It is live. Go over to the For Your Reference podcast and you can check it out. It's District 9. And before we go to the quiz, let's just roll their promo.
Hey friends and potential lovers, have you ever felt so passionately after watching a TV show or a movie but not have a pal to share it with?
Allow us the honor of keeping you company with our weekly podcast For Your Reference with your hosts
KT.
and OT.
Each episode, we break down our hot takes that you'll either ardently agree or vehemently disagree with, like subs versus dubs.
How important is a cohesive narrative?
What's with the popularity of the relatable villain?
Is it possible to be truly objective in spite of your own experiences?
And most importantly, are you getting a clue and which direction is it pointing?
Come on now, it's pointing towards For Your Reference.
That's a great reference. If you've got a little room in your rotation for some salacious frivolity, check out For Your Reference wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hold me closer, private dancer.
Oh,
See my Jason film this week. We're dealing with old Jason Voorhees. He's got machete and a mask.
I bet you're going to leave that
nice.
in, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to leave that in, yes. That's the theme tune for the quiz.
Yes. So then, children, as you will remember, the last time we took the quiz, everything went off because Adam scored points, I got deducted a point, so everything's all over the shop. So the scores on the doors for the quiz are: Paul is top with 19, I'm in second with 18, and Adam's in last place with 16. Now, he has the option to fucking join me in second place, should he
I
get
thought
both
I
of these
had
questions
17.
right.
Oh, shit.
And I'll tell you both this. Both of these are questions that you could either both get correct totally or both not know at all. But there's nothing here really to trip you up.
Isn't that how every quiz works?
What I mean, yeah, I know. What I meant to say is that both of you probably should be able to get the answers to this.
Fantastic.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Complete the lyric by Eminem. Alright? So if it's not a rapper that I make it as, I'ma be a fucking what in a Jason mask?
Oh. Killer?
No, Adam.
What is it?
So if it's not a rapper that I make it as, I'ma be a fucking in a Jason mask.
Porn star?
Oh, children. Maybe you were both scared to say the word.
Is it rapist?
Oh, look.
Is that
Why
what it
didn't
is?
you just say it? Yeah.
Oh.
But I thought it was, but I was in my head. I was like, "There's no way he's going to put that in the quiz. If that is the line."
I gotta say, right? So full disclosure at
I
this
had
point.
it in my head, and I was like, "I can't." Like, it's obviously not going to be that because he would not include that in the quiz.
I feel a bit bad about it, but the thing is, I thought of this question this morning and I thought that'd be good. Then I thought, oh no, that's a bit close to the wire. And then I was running out of time because of various things happening today, so I had
Pressure.
to throw it in. I'm sorry to everyone. I'm sorry to
fine.
everyone who's offended.
We'll have it. We'll have it. It's fine. It's related to Jason. It's fine.
However, it gave me a point, so I'm not too sorry. Thank you.
You
So
actually
that's-
won the point by being disturbing.
I know, very terrible.
Because I would have said, I was on the tip of my tongue because it would make sense. It would make something he would say, but I thought,
Yes.
you're not going to include that in the quiz.
Right. I did, and we're moving on from that, so no one ever thinks of it again. We have the option to score 2 points on this question, boys.
Oh shit.
So, I'm going to give you 4 classic movie killers, and I want you to tell me the order. You both get a go, so you haven't got to rush. Tell me in order of most kills to least kills. I want you to arrange them. Ready?
Okay.
So we have Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Chucky. All I want is most amount of kills first to least amount of kills at the bottom.
Okay. I'm gonna say mine.
Go ahead.
Freddy at the top.
Okay, so you're
Chase.
saying Freddy the most, yeah?
Yeah. Freddy.
Okay,
Jason.
yeah.
Chucky. Michael.
Okay, and let's be having it from.
That's not be right.
Let's have it from you, Adam.
Go on.
I was going to say exactly the same as that, but I want to swap Mike Myers and Chucky around.
So you would say Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky.
Yeah.
You're both wrong.
Is Jason above Freddy? Because that's the only other thing I've done.
That is a tricky question.
It's not. So from most kills to least kills, and this is
Freddy's
where
at
we
the
go
top.
on to the next question. Jason has the most kills.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yes. Michael Myers has the second most kills.
Ooh.
Really?
Chucky has the third, and Freddy has the fourth.
Wow. I thought Freddy was the most.
Check it. So now, here is your only chance, boys, to score a point today. I'm going to tell you how many kills the bottom 3 have, and then you have to guess within 10 how many kills Jason has. So, Freddy, 35 kills. Chucky, 67 kills. Michael, 131 kills.
Jesus.
So within 10, I want a number from each of you.
227.
165.
Fucking hell, you boys are just giving points away. 146. Wow, wee wah. 3
It's so
points for me
hard.
today.
These are the hardest questions.
These are fine questions. Why did you go so high, both of you?
Because I just thought he
165 and
kills a lot
200
of people
plus.
and there's a lot of films.
Well, I tell you
Far
what.
off.
I'll tell you what. There's a little caveat to that question, just to complicate things further. You're not right, Adam, but you're the closest out of all of us, because his actual kills are 146. However, in Jason X,
He
he
runs
runs a fucking spaceship into a planet. Yes, and it's unknown how many people lived on that planet, but it's expected to be thousands. But they're not confirmed kills, so they don't count in his overall
He didn't pick up the
score.
dog tags.
But you were closest. He didn't pick up the dog tags, and there we have me up in 21, Paul with 19, Adam with 16, and that has changed the game significantly.
Well,
You with your rapist comments.
those are some hard questions, I got to tell you.
You had a 1 in 4 shot for getting the order right of the killers.
How many chances do we have for the guessing the number?
And you two love Eminem so much because you're so white, and you
I don't
still
love
didn't
Eminem.
get the lyric.
I haven't listened
You
to
don't
Eminem
love
for
Eminem.
ages
You went
now.
to see him fucking live, mate. You're the only one of us to have seen him live.
I've seen him live.
Well, there you go. Both of you seen him live, and you didn't know. He probably sang that lyric in front of you, and both of you said, "Oh, that's a bit much."
That
I
was-
wasn't expecting him to say that. And now, let's see what's going to happen as we talk about Jason X.
Let's do it. Roll that theme tune.
The main event. Here is our featured topic, plus Adam might do a rubbish plot summary.
Are you fucking serious?
Right, everyone. Today we are talking about Jason X. This is Ben's choice. He decided he wanted us to watch Jason X today. This is a spoiler episode. We'll go straight into spoilers. No hanging around. But first of all, Adam, you know what you got to do? You got to do a really, really nice plot summary.
Okay. So, Jason... The film starts in hell for some reason. I think it's the first one before was Jason in Hell, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know that confirmed. Anyway,
It was Jason Goes to Hell, the previous film, yeah.
So he goes to hell, and then somehow he's now been captured by the American government, or something along those lines. And they're holding him captured, and eventually he breaks free and freezes himself in time and ends up in space 400 years later or something like that. And he is now on a spacecraft slashing people up. And then halfway through the film, he transforms into Uber Jason.
He does.
Uber.
Super Uber, lights up on the frightening. That was an ABBA reference, didn't go very well. That was an exact plot summary. Everything that you said was correct, and I'm pretty sure that's how they probably marketed the fucking film at the time.
Yeah, they were
correct.
like, we've got him in hell, but we need to get him into space. How do we do this?
Yes. And wouldn't you just, even if you knew nothing about Friday the 13th or anything, if you heard that description, he starts off in hell, he freezes in time, and he ends up in space slashing people up, you'll go, I'd probably check that movie out.
Yeah. It was
That
the
sounds
film
wacky.
that Alien wanted to be.
Oh yeah, Alien can only
You
hope
love
to-
that. Is your favourite saying at the moment.
What?
The film that something wanted to be.
Yeah, I know.
Did he say that for
Fine.
District 9?
No, I didn't. I think I said the film Alien wanted to be.
Oh. Right. Since it's my pick,
Yes.
I want to hear from Adama first.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright, so I've only ever seen the first Friday the 13th.
No, the one I recommended you.
Yeah, but listen, shut the fuck up.
Oh. Good lord.
I'm
Said
getting
Eminem
there.
has bad language.
Part
I
of
know.
the story. I need to paint a picture for these listeners.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, be sorry.
Speeding me up.
I thought it was an uninterrupted minute we used to get.
I'm sorry.
What happened to the good old days? Anyway,
I close my mouth now.
so I had only ever seen the first Friday the 13th.
But you've
And
seen
then-
the second one.
And then Ben said, we're going to do Jason X, which is now the 10th one in the series, I believe. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to watch another one. So Ben recommended I watch the second one. So I watched the second one. And that's all the Friday the 13th I've seen. So there's a big 8 in the middle I haven't seen. So, obviously, the second was the first one with Jason in it. Is it? No, it's not. I've got that.
Yeah,
completely
it's the
wrong.
second one's the first one with Jason in it. Properly, anyway.
Yes. As Jason is the undead zombie man. Whatever he's meant to be. And then we're going straight to Jason in space. I must say, I'm not a massive fan of these slasher films. Like, I'll enjoy them, but they're not like... I'm not like what Ben's done and sit down and rewatch them all and then watching Chucky films and then watching Halloween films and whatever he's doing. So, yes, these films aren't something I normally pick out. But I must say, I did enjoy my time watching this film. It was good fun. It just wasn't the best film ever. But yeah, it was fun, and it was stupid, and it's probably everything you expect the film to be. But I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Good lord. Good golly, Miss
Good
Molly.
Lord.
Who popped the bomb? Now then, what does Paul think?
So there's always like some kind of certain expectation with like the horror genre, especially the slasher genre. So some of the time you can almost give it a pass for stupid decision making, like ultra annoying characters, and like ultimately just being a bit shoddy. So let me just put it out there straight away. Jason X is a bad movie, but it comes with a certain slasher charm that almost gives it a pass in some ways. Like, every character is highly unlikable. They're dumb. Exceptionally highly sexed. Every single one of them. And constantly saying annoying things or doing ridiculous things. But it's 100% in the vein of a slasher film. And in this case, it's partly parody as well. which you end up getting with like big franchises like this. And even the fact that it's Jason in space is quite funny because it's in itself like a joke about where sequels end up going. And that's actually where the next Fast and Furious film's going. They're going into space, which is a joke.
It is a joke.
But regardless of all this, I enjoy it to an extent for what it is, but it's still a 5 out of 10 for being what it is as well.
Wow. I thought you were going to give a little higher because of that.
It's a very odd like position that the kind of slasher films have, because you kind of enjoy the ride, but you know it's a bad film.
That's exactly what I thought.
Okay, well, so then we can talk about it. I, before this film, had only, I think, really seen it twice before. Once at the cinema with my brother back in whenever, 2000. And then I guess I must have bought the DVD maybe like a couple of years after that, so I rewatched it then. So I haven't watched it in like 15 years. And as Adam said, for some reason, unknown even to myself, I'm revisiting all these old slasher franchises from beginning to end and just seeing, I kind of want to see, the reason I'm doing it is I want to see if I can spot like certain traits that go throughout all of them. Like everything starts out wanting to be scary. Everything goes into like the realm of like subpar sequels, and then each franchise kind of hits a point where it tries to like reinvent itself or do something really wacky, i.e. going into space. But one of the main things that seems to happen in the slasher genre is it goes from trying to be scary to being silly, and people start laughing at them, and then the films go, okay, the only way we can keep making money from this is if we accept the fact that people think these films are funny and try and make them lean into that, make it as silly as possible. Hence Jason X. So given how all the other sequels in that Friday the 13th series play out and how generally generic and unoriginal they are, this stands out like a fucking sore thumb for how different it is in comparison to all the other ones, even compared to the original. However, it is not a good film by anyone's standards, but it is an enjoyable one, and it's probably one of the most enjoyable ones within the entire Jason Friday the 13th franchise. So I gave it a 6 before, and on this rewatch after all this time, I hold it to a 6 because it has a lot that's actually redeeming for it, considering it's the 10th fucking entry in a franchise. Like, tell me any 10th entry in a franchise other than something like Bond, which could even be remotely entertaining. So it holds a 6. It's yet another really low fucking scorer from a film that I've picked, and I believe this is now actually the lowest film.
It's got to be the lowest of all our picks. Must be.
However, I feel like we're going to have some very complimentary things to say about it. So
yes.
See,
it's a funny film, isn't it? It's like, it's even like, how can you rate something a 5 but really enjoy it at the same time? It's like, but you know, as you're watching it, you're like, oh, that really annoyed me. Like when you see stuff.
It had one of the worst lines of dialogue ever in it, and I can't remember. I just watched it and I was like, that is terrible. Imagine
there are
you're
some
an
terrible lines.
Actress, and they were like, I think it's the bit when he told them to run off to a different lap, and like someone says a line, and then everyone runs out of shot, and then she's just standing there and she says a line. Imagine being an actress and you get given your lines, and then they make you say this line, and you've got to think, fuck me, I've actually got to say this line out loud. Like, it was just ridiculous.
Is it perhaps the line where there's a tiny hole in the spaceship and they're all getting sucked, and then she says, this sucks on so many levels?
No. That was quite clever. It was quite clever.
It is clever,
I can't remember where it was. It was about 40 minutes. It was at some point, and I just thought, fuck me, that is a terrible line of dialogue for a film.
I think horror is probably the only genre you can actually get away with stuff like this, because it's almost like in some kind of another plane where crap dialogue and like absolute stupidness from its characters is actually
it's like
okay.
Expected. Yeah.
It's really strange.
You know why I think you get away with it in horror films is because you have a killer, and especially once you get to the sequels, you're rooting for that killer. You want to see that killer. In the
Yeah.
first film, in everything, like Friday the 13th or Halloween, whatever, you're scared of the killer and you don't normally see them that much. But by the time you've got a fucking franchise behind you, that's the only reason you're turning up is to see that person.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
Exactly. The more people that you can make the audience hate, and this is something that it's taken me a while to get, but the reason for annoying characters in horror films is, I think, exactly that. They want the audience to dislike them so that they take greater pleasure in the killers slicing them up. But that, for me, I would much rather fucking see well-crafted characters.
Yes, I agree.
So, just generally to say, the Friday the 13th films, this is the trend that they follow. The first film has no Jason in it until the final seconds. It's Jason's mum. Then Friday the 13th 2 has, without doubt, the best moment in the entire franchise in the final seconds. Where,
There's a dog bit when I said to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That dog bit. And Paul, have you seen it? Can you remember?
I've seen it a long time ago, but you have to remind me.
The dog, that they've been through so much, and the guy and the girl are holed up in the cabin, and they think they've just made it through, and there's a knock at the door, and there's like the music goes tense, and they slowly open the door, and there's a little puppy there. And they go, oh, and it's like, that puppy can't knock, right? So first of all, what the fuck do you think's going on? And then, but even as an audience member, you're sort of lulled in at that point. You're like, oh, it was a fake, it was a bluff out. And then the window behind her smashes, and Jason leaps through the window in slow motion. And for the first time, you see him unmasked, and you see how horrific his face is. And the film ends. And I think that is still one of the most terrifying moments of Friday the 13th. But then after
actually made you jump.
Right, did it work for you, Adam? Yeah,
because you are lulled into that full sense of security. Like, you think the film is over now, like the characters have won effectively, and yet, bam, he pops out.
It was great. It's one of the better jump scares in horror. But then it goes, every film after that was like a variation of a theme. Teens going camping, Jason's there, he kills them. Variations. They throw in like one or two things to mix it up. Exactly. It's just like constant sex, more so than any other horror franchise. It's all about Jason punishing those who are having sex. But then it gets to the sixth film, and in the sixth film it kind of clocks that it can be funny and still work, and the sixth film is one of the better ones, because it suddenly goes, okay, jokes are funny here, because now it is referencing the fact that this thing's been running forever.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so before he did this, Dan's only kept two. He got he had all the Friday the 13th, but he cut them down, and he said he kept the first one, the second one, the sixth one, and the eighth one.
What's the eighth? Oh, Jason Takes Manhattan. Come on, man. To have the balls to name one of your films Jason Takes Manhattan. Like
Surely
it's a fucking matinee musical. There's a lot of kills in that. That has a lot. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it has great moments. The final 20 minutes in Manhattan are what you pay for. And then right before this one is one of the worst Jason films ever, because Jason dies immediately, and then his soul transfers into just like average members of the public throughout the film, so you're just watching random people kill. It's horrible, but it ends with him being killed and his hockey mask on the floor, and then Freddy Krueger's glove bursts out of the floor and pulls the mask down into hell. And the reason for that was the next film was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason, but Freddy versus Jason kept getting postponed for so long that I think it's New Line who took on the Friday the 13th franchise were like, we need to make another film in the meantime. Hence Jason X, and hence them setting it in the future, because technically this happens after Freddy versus Jason.
Right.
So that's why it explains that he's dead at the end.
I mean, he's dead all the fucking time. That's the thing.
Yes. He's just a zombie,
Yeah, no, but he's
much.
like really gone at the end, isn't he?
Well, who knows? Because they say, oh, I think
come
it fell
back
into
to
the lake.
space.
Let's go and inspect. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
he's
shit,
gonna
I
be
forgot about
fucking
that part.
alive.
Yes,
I
he's
forgot. I
definitely
just remember the spaceship blowing up. I thought that was the end. I forgot the people walking into the lake.
Yeah,
Don't you
he's
remember whatever his name, the sergeant on his
flying,
back?
flying
Yeah.
towards Earth?
And I was like, when those people walk towards those lakes, it's those dumb things. It's like, don't go and have a look. Just stay there.
Of course.
Right, so what do you think the best way to approach the film is? Do you want to like walk through it beat by beat?
Let's talk broadly about it in stages, yeah, rather than scene by scene, because
Yes.
there's so many scenes that are just horrible.
Yes, of course.
Let's talk broadly about it. Let's talk about the beginning first of all, where he's all chained up.
Okay, and then David Cronenberg just appears.
Good boy. I wanted to
was
see
like-
if either of you noticed.
I was like, why is David Cronenberg here?
Apparently, I think it was because the director of this worked in the special effects on something like Existenz or something, and then
Okay.
it was like his way of thanking him. It was like, because he's a big fan. He was like, oh yeah, get me
Just kill
killed
me.
by Jason.
Just kill me.
Yeah.
For some reason, they keep his mask on him. even though
They
he's all
do that
chained
in
up.
so many films. It's
It's like,
stupid.
just
I know.
take it off.
You got to. You don't want to look at that ugly face.
I know. A face
Well,
only a
it's
mother
true.
could love.
I guess that's why they covered him as well.
That's why dude threw the cloth over him. Yeah.
Yes, and then so Jason's escaped somehow from those chains and put that other
Guy
soldier
in there.
into his position, and Jason comes about throwing his chains like fucking Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I was trying to think what the video game character was. It was like that.
Yes.
I think
like-
now this is the most unremarkable scene in the film, considering all the kills that later happen. Or, like, potentially none of these people are really dead apart from Cronenberg, because all he's doing is like whacking them, and it's like, come on, man, you're Jason.
Yeah.
Get your blade. I know he doesn't have a blade at that point, I suppose, but let's have some gruesome, twosome stuff here at this point.
Like
'cause it
cutting
was all-
people's heads off with chains.
Yes. I think this is the first film in the franchise that is a 15, not an 18. So that's kind of why like they downgraded the graphic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to go 18 on these films.
You must, right?
That's probably why there's no boobs in it as well.
There is boobs in
There
the
is.
hologram
Oh yeah,
scene.
but not real boobies, robot boobies.
Well, yes, I suppose you
That's
could.
Then
what
I
he was
guess
looking
that's
out
all
for.
No, not robot ones. They're additional ones. So the AI has her tits out, but also in the virtual reality, the two campers lift their tops up.
Oh yeah.
See that how happy Adam was in his voice then? Oh yeah.
You made me sound like a pervert.
Oh well.
You
You have
made
to make you sound like
yourself-
anything.
A pervert.
Do you think that Jason is very scary? I know he's probably scary in older films, but I don't think he's scary in this.
The thing that's scary about him is like the people that shoot him and he just stands there. That's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how do we kill him?
It's because they don't try to hide him in this. He's just in full view pretty much the whole time.
Yes.
Just basically just stalking them.
The difference
Yeah.
between Jason in the early Friday the 13th, when he's just stalking around the woods with a mask, that was scary. Whereas in this, of course, never scared. More like, let me just see how extreme he can be.
Yeah, yeah. So this lady runs away from him and like very cleverly traps him inside the what do you call it? The
Cryostasis.
cryostasis
Cryogenic,
pod.
Yes.
And then stupidly, she just decides to stand right
Stupid.
next to it.
So
like,
You
Come
wouldn't
on, he's
expect him
got
to
a
stab
knife.
through that.
yeah, it was like
Come on.
fucking cardboard, man. How's his machete getting through there? He had no room to swing that thing in there, yet he somehow managed to penetrate it.
And also like that when he was unfrozen, he was in that position, like the stance of like with his machete in the air instead. It's like, let me just hold my machete in the air.
But that was clever. I liked that. It was like, oh shit, she thought she was doing something smart. It's a good setup. That is a good setup because like
Yes.
now we know what's going to happen. You're going into space with him. Lovely.
Yes, it was a good setup. I agree. So that's when we get the crew coming down. They're finding the pod and
Yes.
her.
Can
And
I
this
ask a
is what-
question? If
Yes.
you were in that situation that she was in, and you knew how bad he was, and you got gashed by his machete, would you rather, if you could choose at that moment in time, die or be frozen and know that when you awaken, he'll be awoken too?
I think I'd rather still wake up.
Yeah, you need to take your chances. Still.
I suppose.
She had her chances.
She could have been slashed up even worse when she woke up, though. She was fucking lucky that he took a long
It's
time to
very
rouse
true.
himself from his slumber. Jason was like Adam. It'd take a long time to come out of that slumber. Me and you were that woman. We wake up.
No,
fresh
he
faced.
wook up straight away and stabbed someone. Like,
No, it
literally
took
within
him
about 3
ages.
seconds. He stabbed
He-
somebody.
He was all watery for a while.
He was watery.
I just remember him getting up and stabbing that girl like straight
Yeah, but
away.
he sat up. He suddenly sat up after a long time of lying down, and everyone was canoodling.
I don't think he'd fully defrosted yet properly because he was inside the thing and she was out of it, so she's obviously not going to be frozen as bad.
They should have put him in the microwave for a little while.
Defrost.
Just spinning, yeah, defrost, spinning with the light on.
To be fair, his first kill was probably his best kill in that one with the blonde girl, and he puts her head in the ice machine.
Yes, that was a very good kill.
Well, 100%, yes. That is one of the standout fucking kills of the whole franchise.
Liquid oxygen. Anyway, so before we skip on to when Jason wakes up, let's just talk about this crew, because
Yeah.
as Adam said, it does feel like they're trying to like breach into the Alien franchise, like with having the cyborg there.
Yeah,
And,
but if
like,
you're going to
it's-
do something in space, you're naturally going to have a little of that, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a robot aboard the ship.
It had a lot of hints at like Star Wars. There was a lot of Star Trek vibes going on that ship.
I mean, it was geeky. It was very geeky.
Yeah.
It's clearly written by a geek.
Yes,
I reckon they just got
100%.
cheap sets left over.
Well, see, the sets was quite impressive. I thought the effects, considering, were actually quite good in terms of the spaceship, space itself, and the
Yeah.
kills. It never struck me as, this is so cheap. I know that it was digital for the most part, the blood and stuff, but
You've also got the, what do you call it? You've got the Australian captain with his fucking cowboy hat on.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
450 years later, people are still wearing cowboy hats. We're like us wearing Tudor hats now.
that was a reference. That was a reference to Alien, I'm sure, wasn't it?
Surely, everything was
because the
reference to
captain
Alien.
wore a cowboy hat then as well.
Even to the point of the head soldier guy being called Waylander, like Wayland.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't
Yes.
clock that, That was good.
I was thinking that's Waylander. That's not Waylander, is it? The Waylander is the actual
Brodsky is his name.
Oh, Bronsky, yeah. Waylander is the other guy who wanted to get her clothes off. He said,
yeah.
"I got it.
Yeah.
I'll take her clothes off."
Yeah,
And she
I
was
mean,
like, no.
That's all cheap, love, creepy
It's
shit,
so-
though, isn't it?
That's where the creepy sexual vibes start coming to it, because it goes from there and then it goes to the teacher's nipples getting twisted with some like salad tongs.
I know. I mean, that's all. It's silly. It's very silly. But again, this is where the franchise is making a clear decision to go. Okay, if we're going to do sex, as everyone expects in a Friday the 13th film, let's twist it up and be silly with it. Because if they were all scenes with people just having sex normally, it would be like, this is boring as fuck. But because of
Yes.
that, you remember the salad tongs on the nipples, and you remember the robot with her boobs out. You remember all of them.
It's all hyping it up.
Oh, aye.
Yes.
And also, when we first introduced to this crew, we have another one of my personal favourite moments from Jason X, where they open the chamber and Jason falls forward and his machete chops that man's arm off.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was great. A nice simple kill without even trying.
These people just love standing in stupid positions. It
That's true.
Maybe that's the kill I was thinking of, like straight away, that he killed somebody.
That's-
wasn't even a kill.
It wasn't a kill, that's true.
Just got his arm cut off.
Yeah. Well, you know.
You can grow back limbs on this shit.
Yes, and that would be very important to the plot in the final 12 minutes.
Oh yes, because we have these really bad CGI ants that crawl over you and just fix you up.
What are you being so tough on the CGI for? I thought they were very fine.
They weren't like ants, were they? They were like...
They were ants.
They were. They called them something ants. They said they were
Oh.
ants of something. But they weren't like real ants.
They were like little beads or something that just rolled over you.
Yes.
just little marbles, all cat size, just rolling.
But either way, they do the stupid thing where it's like, well, let's bring this thing that looks like a horrible, terrible monster aboard.
Yes, of course, because he wants to sell it to a museum or some shit.
There's always one.
Yes, he wants to get the money.
Yes.
Do you know what was brutal? When she
What?
decides to try and cut his mask off. It's so deep she's
Oh,
going.
yeah, that's true.
She's like cutting like the whole epidermis off his skull.
The epidermis is the skin.
Yes,
That's
it's gone.
good.
It's gone.
And then she has the nerve to say, "Oh, you poor baby, look at your face. No wonder you wore a mask. You just fucking burnt his face up."
Do you know what might be a thing they did on purpose was the fact that this lady, the first kill, actually felt like she would be the final girl.
No,
Because
I never
she's
really
the one
thought of that.
who doesn't really like. She's the doctor. She's doing
Sensible
the
one.
surgery. The sensible one. She's like, "Can you please get out of here while you're pretty much having sex on the operating table?"
Yeah, that was a bit weird. She was like, go off and have sex. They're like, really? And she's like, yeah.
No, she said, "Can you go off and cool yourself down?" And then they thought that was a thing of her saying, "Yes, go and have sex."
Oh yes. And then they go off, but of course they would. The young bucks always like to go off and have sex. This is something you young people do, Adam. Yes.
Adam, yes.
Yes, there's a serial killer on the loose, and that's what you do.
Well, exactly. I know.
Did you do that when you were a young buck?
When I was a young buck, all the serial killers that they you couldn't move for serial killers at the time. Silence. Silence for some strange reason. When the mask comes off, it's one of the least impressive times that you see Jason without a mask on, because it looks kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Other times when Jason takes his mask off, he has looked bad in other films, but generally they do a pretty good job unmasking Jason, because it's always for a very brief amount of time, and it's always hideous because he's like this zombie boy, all fucked up, all bloated from the water where he drowned and all that stuff. So they do a good job with it. But this felt a little bit, it's a little bit kooky, man.
I think the thing is with this film especially is because the bright lights of the spaceship everywhere is bright. So
so
the
like you
light's
say, there's
always on
nowhere
him.
to hide. He's in plain sight.
So he wakes up. He sits up like the corpse in Tomb Raider in the coffin, and he gets the doctor, starts dragging her away, almost pulling her top off, and puts her head in that liquid nitrogen. That was one of the best kills of the film, as you say.
Yeah.
Very good. And then smashes her head on the table and it breaks her skull.
So that's the only way to kill him as well. That's what I was thinking when that happened.
Well, anyway, you kill him, there'll be a way. Haven't you seen Terminator 2 when they smash him up at the end and all his parts get
he's
heated up and
liquid.
come back together? I know, but Jason is zombie, so I don't know how it works. Jason always comes back. Apart from when he burns up on re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, perhaps.
Who knows?
But I hate to burst your bubble, boys. There's some really dorky television show that decided that they would test this somehow, maybe using a real person, to see if it would actually happen.
Oh, really?
If that would happen.
What
And
bit? Like
it was
you
a
smash the heads on this liquid nitrogen.
It's one of those shows like, would
Like
it really work?
Mythbusters.
It was, that's what it was. Sorry, it was Mythbusters. It was the
Really?
Mythbusters television show, yeah, and they actually did it based on this, and
Wow.
it wouldn't have worked. I don't
So
know.
obviously
how they tested
obviously not a human head.
Yeah, and imagine you've got to be
Yes.
solid all the way through, and I imagine the head would be probably still raw in the middle.
raw. Oh, that's horrible. That makes me think of like a turkey that's half cooked, half frozen still.
All the giblets falling out.
Yes. All my giblets are in my back. I've got a terrible back today. Let me rub that.
Oh, poor baby.
Let me rub that. There we go. And then after he smashes her up, conveniently, there's already a nice clean machete for him
Oh, yes.
from the tray. So not only did he bring his own, there's already a machete on the tray. Why a doctor would need a machete, I don't fucking know.
He didn't even have his machete at this point. The teacher took it.
Oh, that's right.
There was about 20 weapons for him to pick out.
Lots of weapons.
He could have used the salad tongs.
He could have, and he would have.
He knows where they've been. He knows where they've
Yeah.
been.
I know that he's been tweaking them man nipples with it.
So everyone finds out that Jason's alive now. And all the cannon fodder arrives. All the soldiers who we've never seen before
That's right.
arrive to die.
Yes.
It's fine. It's enjoyable. We like to see people die.
Yeah.
Probably didn't deserve it as much as the students, but
No, but this is what you pay your ticket price for these sort of films. By this point,
Yeah,
it's
of
like,
course.
well, just kill as many people as you can in very clever ways.
yeah. He kills the 12-year-old boy who's getting off his girlfriend.
Hey?
Stabs him in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And then pulls the blade out backwards. Very horrendous.
And he also pulls him around the corner for some reason, which I thought was really strange.
You never see him again.
Yeah. But also, like, why are you pulling him around the corner? So, like, you've killed him, now go and kill that girl. He kills him, and then he just takes him around the corner for some reason.
like-
What are you doing?
he's like, I
You've
just
never
wanted
cared
him.
about where the bodies are left before.
She was trapped in that room, but somehow she got out.
You know when she screams when the blood squirts on her face?
Yeah.
I read in the trivia that it was because the practical effects went wrong and it was meant to miss her face, but it went in her eyes, and that was her screaming because it burnt so bad in her eyes.
Oh, really?
So rewatch that scene with that knowledge, and that's cringe, mate. It's like hot sauce being squirted into your eyes. Ugh.
She was supposed to laugh at that point.
Yeah.
This is also then we go to the CGI gaming room with the big dragon.
Yeah, the VAR room.
And then Jason's like just cutting up some CGI things somehow.
Yeah. How does the real interact with the virtual? I don't know.
I know.
don't know.
And you see them smashing their heads off and they're just talking on the ground.
I mean, again, silliness that the film is leaning into, it worked for me.
Yes,
You
it
know.
was fine. I enjoy. See, this is the thing. It's so dumb that it's enjoyable.
But like, there is an art to making a film dumb and enjoyable, because sometimes a film can just be made dumb and go, we're just gonna, like Sharknado. Those films aren't enjoyable.
Yes,
And
exactly.
they're dumb. They're made to be dumb. But it's like, just because you think you're being stupid, that people are going to love it. That's not the case. You also have to give people something that they want to see. And in this, I think it's give them a big fucking killer that they know well, and have him work his way through the crew, killing everyone.
Sharknado would never be lucky enough to get a 5 out of 10.
Never. I don't think it would pass your 2-star.
No. And Jason kills these 2 people in the computer game room, and I think they're very wasted kills. He could have did better. He just broke one of their backs or something.
He did the
smashed the other one
Bane
head.
back break.
I know, but it wasn't very good.
Oh,
It's very
he did
quick.
He did it long before Bane did it, mate.
He did it in the comic. No, come on now. Bane did it. Bane did it in
When?
the comic books long
What year?
ago.
What year?
Long ago. Do you actually want me to research?
No, you should. You know off the top of your head, DC boy.
I would never know. I'd never know. Let's have a look.
I think that the author of the Batman novel saw Jason X.
He wrote Jason X before
Yeah, he did.
he wrote this.
His dialogue got better after that.
Oh. When did? Oh yes, definitely. It came out between 1993 and 1994 when Bane broke his back.
All right, very good. Well, this was the first time it was put to celluloid.
Yes, he beat Tom Hardy.
See, Kane Hodder would make a very fine Bane.
He probably would. Yeah.
Don't you think the build of him, because like this Jason, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and more like fucking like a bodybuilder as the films go on, and by this point that is kind of what he's like. It feels like a bloody bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's very imposing.
So you wouldn't like your back broken by Jason. That would not be nice.
No, that would be very, very not nice.
And then after all these kills, and here's another funny line. Maybe this is the line you were talking about, Adam. That he
Maybe.
chucks the man off the balcony, and he gets impaled and spins around this massive screw.
That
Yes.
was it.
And then she says, "He's
That's-
screwed."
Yes.
Actually, no, I don't think it was, but I found that one quite funny because it was quite funny.
They were all kind of funny.
That's the guy who was doing the ninja skills against Jason.
Oh yeah, cringe, silly.
I just remember that line because he just impaled on the big thing and he just slowly spinning around, wasn't he?
That was
That's
cool.
it.
That looked cool as he was slowly spinning around the screw. I like that. You
Yeah.
would.
I got the line here. They called him on the intercom and said, "What's his condition?" And she said, "He's screwed."
Very good. And then Brodsky's death scene happens, or supposed
Yeah.
death scene.
Until the little ants come and save him.
I didn't realise the ant saved him, so this is what confused me, because I knew that Brodsky died, because Brodsky has a funny line, which again, you either like it or you don't, where he says something like, "It'll take more than a stab to kill me."
Gotta need more than a poke in the rib to take down this old dog.
And then he
he
gets it, and he goes,
Yeah, and he goes, "Yeah, that ought to do it."
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's good. I like that.
It's just like the immediate giving up.
Imagine you actually talk like that in real life. I wish that we could all have such good senses of humour when we're in absolute fucking peril.
I know, everyone is such in a good mood.
They're all in a good mood, making witty remarks.
This is where they all go into the comms room and they're all like just stand. They've locked themselves in, and then Jason is slowly trying to break in. Oh yeah, she approaches the door, and you think he's going to break in, but he breaks in the window instead. Just like you're saying, Friday the 13th too.
They said, "Oh, why don't you pick your head out and have a look?" It's like you're on a spaceship. There's fucking cameras everywhere. Why don't you look at the fucking camera to see where he is? You don't have to open the door.
Just go out a different door.
Yeah.
Why you got to go that way?
Because we
So
are in
Jason-
slasher territory, that's why.
Yes, everyone's dumb.
Yeah.
Everyone's making stupid decisions. So Jason jumps through the window, and they all decide to scatter in their different directions.
Yes. Like rats.
Because they've decided to. Have they decided they got to get on the lifeboat kind of ship now?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. But this is where they all run away, and the teacher stays behind for some reason with Jason.
No, when they're in that room, isn't this the part where that he takes out the planet?
Oh yeah, when does the planet get taken out?
He kills
think it's in that
he
bit.
kills the pilot.
Because he was like, the teacher was like, "Oh, we're sent out for help on this planet, so we'll be fine when we get there."
Yeah, that's it. So it kills the pilot, and then it just basically goes straight into it's like a glass bit of the ship, isn't it? It just basically blows the whole.
Yeah.
It's not a planet though.
bridge
It's like a
or
massive ship, isn't it?
It's
Like a mothership.
like a colony. It's like in Battlestar Galactica, those sort of setups where people lived. I don't know. I got the impression that it was like a colony or something. But he killed a lot of motherfuckers on that island.
Yeah. That's how Adam got his close to his kill-death ratio.
That's right.
We've got that within 10.
Yes. So with the teacher, and this is what I like this bit, I think it's a bit stupid. Again,
So dumb.
it keeps walking the line. It is stupid, but it works somehow. And I don't know how you get the special ingredients. But we know it's fucking stupid that he's like, he just wants his machete back. We know that's stupid. And we know no one's that fucking dumb.
The thing is, they did well on that bit, is they pause it for long enough where he has the machete, and it almost they hold it for like a minute, and you're almost like, wait, all he does want is his machete back, maybe.
He's going to go off now. He's fine.
It was just such a weirdly prolonged period of time that he's just standing behind him. You're like, hang on a second, this cunt's going to get away with it, isn't he?
What does Jason want that machete for? He's going to be whacking some weeds in the corridors or something.
Yeah, that machete's not cutting for anyone. It's rusted as hell.
Wasn't? Oh yeah, because that was his old one. Yeah, lots of blood rusted up on that one. That's why. I was sorry to see him go, the old teacher there. I like to see some older people on the ship. Make me feel better about my age.
So he cuts his head off, doesn't he? Because he shows it to the another guy sitting in the
Yes.
pilot seat at the end.
That's
Closest
right.
At the end. But first, we have the robot scene where she says, "There's a 12% chance that we're going to survive,"
Yeah.
and then when he kisses her, she says it's a 53% chance now.
That's because she's aroused and she wants to live more. So she's like, I'm going to work harder.
And he says, "Want to try for 100?"
Oh,
Does he?
awful.
Yes. This is not the
Awful.
time. This is not the
No,
time
it's
for
not
this
the
shit.
time.
Also, especially with Jason around, who hates people having sex.
Yeah. Jason hates that.
Yes.
You better not have sex. You know, just to stop for a minute, you know why Jason hates everyone having sex so much?
Is it because that's how he died, wasn't it?
Yeah, because all the
'Cause they
counsellors were
left him to
fucking.
die.
They should have been looking after him, so he drowned. So at least he has a good reason to hate people having sex.
Yes.
Unlike all the other horror films, you know.
At least
when-
he sticks to his morals.
he sticks to his morals. He's like,
These
if
people
you all
don't.
stopped having sex, you'd live. Hey?
These people don't stick to their morals.
No, they're terribly immoral people.
They're demons.
They are. And the most demonic of all, in this whole film, the two people I hated the most
Oh, yes.
live in the virtual world. And they're the two holographs from Camp Crystal Lake
Oh,
that
yes.
they use to try and trick him. And he gets tricked again. He's like, you've already been in a virtual world once with a monster, and now you're tricked again, and you really believe these two bitches pop their top off smoking weed and give you a beer and want to have...
You really don't like the women today, do
I
you?
really quite like that scene. Because that really was tongue-in-cheek, like, showing how much of a parody it was. Because it was so dumb, and then she was smashing the sleeping bags.
So the sleeping
Oh, that
bag
was
is one of the
fucking
best
hilarious.
bits. Yeah, that's
That was funny,
that's
man,
the main
like-
thing that I remember from Jason X. From
Yeah.
all
He's
those
Just
years ago.
fucking throwing it around like a rag doll.
But that's from Jason 6, I think. Jason 6 or 7. The first time Kane Hodder got frustrated with the requirements from a scene, and so in anger he picked up this sleeping bag and started whacking it against a tree, and then the director said, fucking hang on a minute, we're putting that in, and then they created a death scene.
Who smashes a sleeping bag against a tree?
Out of frustration, I don't know, he was near them. But I don't mean that this scene annoyed me and I hated it, but like those two characters,
Yeah.
holograph and parody as they were, those characters essentially were what Friday the 13th had been for so long before that. Like those annoying characters, like the characters in like Friday the 13th 1 to 9 pretty much are all that sort of annoying character. That's why even though these characters on this ship are a bit annoying, I remember all of them. I can remember most of them. I can't
Yeah.
remember any of the fucking teens that he slaughtered in
Yeah.
Camp Crystal Lake beforehand, because they were just sex annoying. That's it.
So they have more depth than those two and in the other characters. But you don't realise it.
That's right.
Yeah. But before we get to there, they're trapped in that corridor because that girl's selfishly got onto the lifeboat on her own, and
That's
she wants to drive. She wants to go off with the gas line still attached. She kills herself. Stupid lady.
Very selfish.
We don't care about her anyway.
No.
But then, what happens then? The robot lady comes, saves the day, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
You get the face off.
In her S&M gear,
She is.
Yeah, she went very broody.
highly sexed. She's 100% now.
100%. She was like that character from Holy Motors. All the latex.
This is where the robot lady does all her Matrix skills, shooting Jason, and basically landing him on that regeneration pod, which people should have realised, like, this is not a very good deal to just leave him there. Something might happen. Something might heal him. The little ants, the little marbles or ball bearings, whatever Adam wants to call them, could eventually heal this man.
Well, they were all super relieved at this point that he was just down. They weren't even thinking about the ants, eh?
They were super relieved the whole time. They were joking. They didn't mind that Jason was on the ship.
No. They were very
happy. They were happy the whole time.
They were happy just to have visitors. They've been in space for so long. And here's the problem with this bit, is that I feel misled. I couldn't remember how late into the film it is before Evil gets an upgrade and Jason becomes Uber Jason.
It's very
in
close
my
to the
mind,
end.
he was on it for a long time, and they market it as such. So, considering he's only, I think it was like 13 minutes at the end.
Is that all it was?
It's very short. It's in the teens.
I always thought it was a bit longer.
It's in the teens.
Yeah, it's not long.
And that's a little bit cheeky, because they could have had a lot more fun with him if they give him the upgrade halfway through. There was no need for him to be old Jason. He could have been old Jason
Terminator
for like
Jason.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Power Rangers?
Yes.
Fucking Lord Zed, mate.
I can't remember what he
He's
looks
got his
like.
fucking brain hanging out. That guy.
Lord Zed, let's have a look. See? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very similar.
There's Jason,
Although Lord Zed used to prance around like a ballerina. Jason wouldn't do none of that.
He would never.
No, he would never.
He wouldn't be caught seen. He
No.
might do it in private.
Now, Jason's look when he gets the Uber upgrade is very lovely. Very aesthetically pleasing.
I do enjoy it. I like his eyes. They look too close together, though.
His eyes were... He was mad.
They were red. Red
He
raw.
he was the bodybuilding Terminator by this point.
He was.
Although
It was a-
Terminator was a bodybuilder, always.
It was a good look, though.
It was
I
very
do agree.
sexy, very tight, and he
Like
looked
a
very
tiger.
shiny. Yes, tight, like a tiger, yes. Shave me from my shelf. He looked
What did
very
you-
good.
What did you think, Adam?
I liked him.
He
Thanks for
hated
the
him.
input.
He hated him then, clearly. He would have preferred to watch the third one again.
And Jason is so strong at this point. He's just literally like knocking doors down. Just fucking smashing them down.
I guess
Yeah.
that's why you couldn't have had him like this for too long, because it
Yes.
would have been too
So
one-sided.
strong.
Yeah.
Kills the robot, just smashes her head off.
Smashes her head off, but she survives still.
She does.
She's a robot, just like
The guy-
Ash from Alien.
He's making sure he keeps that head of the robot to use
need-
whatever
yeah.
means he needs them for.
So he can go 110%.
110%.
Yeah.
So and then they need to distract him. They need to open the doors so that the rescue ship can save them, but they need the distraction. So this is where they do.
Why is it always on every spaceship they have these lifeboats or whatever you want to call them, but they always need to be launched from inside the spaceship? Why don't they ever put the launch pad on the spaceship itself? There's always somebody who's kind of got to stay behind to fire off the spaceships, and they run into the spaceship in time.
That's true. It's because they always have a switch that goes down in the course of the film, which means someone has to stay and do the manual override.
Manual.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Don't put it on the bloody ships.
It's true. They should have many switches. They should also they should all have like fucking personal protective armor, as far as I'm concerned, that they're always wearing on a ship to protect them in case the fucking ship explodes, so that they
Or
can survive
Jason
in the
turns up.
atmosphere. Or Jason.
Listen, we got to be glad that he stayed behind. Our man riding him down to earth like fucking never-ending story.
That final shot is something to behold, because it goes to show, like, in the grand scheme of things, how wonderful a franchise can be. That it goes from trying to do a simple slasher horror film filmed in the woods to a man riding Jason all the way down to earth. Fucking.
Also, when they land on Earth, that couple look like they're from the very first film. Like the way they're dressed and the way all that,
Well,
the
you
way
see-
it looks. It's almost like they've gone back in time when he's going back down to space.
Well, that's an interesting thought, but also remember there is no Earth anymore. This is Earth 2.
Yeah.
So maybe, and this is also the David Lynch universe, and this is why Twin Peaks is so strange in The Return, because it's taking place on Earth 2.
Ooh,
You had to get your Twin Peaks.
look at that take.
Jason X and David Lynch.
One of a kind.
Would you like to see David Lynch do a Jason film?
I would love to see any good director do a horror film, because it'd be like, wow, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. They no one ever goes near them, do they?
No.
Obviously, apart from like originals back in the day, but...
Yeah. No one ever touches them. I don't know why. But that scene when Jason is like flying through space towards the window of the mirror, and then Brodsky grabs him and they go flying to Earth. It reminded me so much of Jaws: The Return, Jaws 3, when there's like a cardboard shark that's just moving towards the glass window. That's exactly what Jason's like.
The shape doesn't change; it stays. Like
Yeah, it stays the same. And then he goes down to Earth and ends up in the lake, and they say, let's go and check him out. So we would assume that Jason is... Full circle. But that is the end of the timeline, and we've had no Jason since then, so in theory he is dead, yeah.
So you're saying Freddy vs. Jason was before that then?
Freddy vs. Jason...
Oh yeah, I guess it must
that.
have been. It must have been, because he doesn't look like that anymore.
Freddy vs. Jason picks up where Jason goes to hell left off by having Freddy going, I need the kids to remember me, but until they do, I need someone to sort them out. And then he resurrects Jason.
Oh, beautiful thing.
Is Nightmare on Elm Street the one with Johnny Depp in it?
That's
and
right.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon is in
Kevin
Friday the
Bacon.
13th.
That's the one.
All these franchises in the first film get a good start. So you had Johnny Depp in Nightmare. In this you had Kevin Bacon. Halloween had Jamie Lee Curtis. Chucky didn't really have a new one. Well, maybe it's just those three actually. But funny enough, I was doing like I said, I'm doing the rewatch, and I was watching Freddy 7, and then Johnny Depp just pops up into it halfway through. I was like, whoa, man, we're 7 films deep, and you've come back? Wow.
I don't remember that.
He comes back on a TV set in a dream, and he's with Freddy selling stuff. Yes.
If you had to be killed by any of them, who would you be killed by, Ben?
Well, I would want to be killed by the one who's going to kill me the quickest, and I believe that would be Jason. So I'd probably want to be killed by him. Jason doesn't torment or take a long time. He generally just goes smash, bash, you're dead. Michael just has too much fun with the knife.
Michael likes to hide under a sheet and pretend to be a ghost.
Yes, he would creep me out too much. Freddy has too many blades on his hands, and he loves to torture you in dreams. Chucky's little, so he would keep going in horrible ways.
Like the lawnmower scene.
That was stupid. Me not count that remake. Having rewatched all of this and all of Freddy and all of Chucky, this ranks lowest out of the 3. And the reason is Freddy managed to, from the off, after the first film, it was like, people aren't taking it seriously, we've got to lean into the humour. So it kept the humour there all the way through. So and it tried to do something different with each film in a way as well, but it had the humour there, and it made Freddy a catchphrase guy. Like, welcome to prime time, bitch, and all that stuff. Chucky is consistently good from beginning to end. I don't know how they did it. They just managed to walk the line. But again, the first 2 films were horror. Then it goes into kind of comedy, but it walks a good line between horror and comedy. It makes the killer comedy, but it makes the story still horrific. Whereas this, once you get over Jason being creepy, you can't watch 90 minutes of him being creepy over and over again with the same essential characters at camp. It's like, if you go to the cinema every year to see those, it'd be like paying money to see the same film. So Jason X is like, this is the first time that the franchise is doing something new. And again, it's the only one that stood out in my mind, which is why I suggested this. I suggested this having not seen it for however long.
The Halloween films, that don't ever go stupid, does it?
So that's the beauty of Halloween. It never tried to do comedy.
No.
There was one film where they tried to do some silly comedy element with a couple of police officers, but
I remember that. Yeah.
That got dropped out. But yeah, generally speaking, Halloween always is strive to be a horror film, and I think that's why I like it more than all the others, because and Saw.
Yes.
Like, they both go for horror.
Saw went ridiculous though.
But you say that, but not in comparison. It did, but not in comparison to how a lot of these other franchises went.
It's still in the same vein.
All I remember, like, the first Saw's brilliant, isn't it? And then Jigsaw, what was it? The last one that came out was one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
Let's not be too harsh.
Not
it
the
wasn't
worst
good.
film you've seen in your life.
No.
It was bloody shit.
That's the Friday the 13th remake. Trust me, that really is one of the worst films I've seen in my life. If you like, honestly,
I think I've watched the remake.
if you watch the remake, then you would give Jason X a 10 because it is just horrible, horrible, horrible. The worst characters. It is so rapey as well. It's produced by Michael Bay, and the evidence just drips off the fucking screen that it's produced by him because it is so much exploitative sex.
This is the thing. I wonder, the fact that like Halloween and Saw, they've gone through so many sequels and never tried to be like anything that they weren't in the original one. And they're the ones that I feel are trying to be brought into the modern day again. Like Chris Rock wanted to like a sequel of it.
Yeah.
And we've actually got a good Halloween film that's come out. Like that was really good, that last one.
It was, yeah.
And it's like I don't feel like people want to touch the other franchise because of how they're almost like in a time capsule of that's what they were at the time.
Time capsule, and I think because so many bad follow-ups were made, they're just tainted. Like if we got
Also,
another
there's a
Jason,
certain point you've done a certain amount of them, you need to stop.
but as long as they're making money, they will continue to make them. That's always the shame with these things. And those Friday the 13th films were making money, so the more money that they made, the more films they decided they were going to do. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And for the most part, it just doesn't fit Jason X. Halloween and Saw, I think, like, they do try and do original stuff with each one, but they stay true to their horror roots. What made the first one successful, they stick to it. Like, Jason wasn't even in the first Friday the 13th, but then he made it, when he appeared in the second one, it was like, okay, this is what we're turning up for. But Jason was a scary killer hiding in the woods, slowly moving towards his prey. By the time we get to Jason X, he's running around and stuff. Like in Jason Takes Manhattan, he's fucking running around. Like, Jason's not supposed to run. If you've got a killer that runs, that's not scary. You've got a killer that's in New York in front of loads of people, that's not scary. It's a novelty to watch. Like Jason X. Jason X is a novelty to watch, but it's also a bit of a fun time.
Yeah, I agree.
Adam, this is the question that I wanted to ask you before I come into this podcast. I didn't know your score, but because you say you don't really like these sorts of films and you don't really like horror films generally, for you, what, like, having seen Friday the 13th Part 2 and now having seen Jason X, which is your preference? Something that tries to be scary in the slasher genre, or something that tries to be...
I think I enjoyed watching Jason X more than...
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I think... okay. Friday the 13th Part 2 is probably the better film, I'd say. But this is more fun to watch, and I'll definitely go back and watch this over Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I agree to the point that I give Friday the 13th Part 2 a 7, and I give this a 6, but I would definitely still rewatch this over that, even though the second is a better film.
Yeah. But this is like the thing, like, when I watched, was it Zombievers or something like that, you're asking why. It's that same type of film, it's just stupid. It's not a very good film, but it's enjoyable to a bit. Like, I would never pick to watch it by myself, but there's a couple of you put it on, and you will have a good laugh at it, being stupid, people getting killed by zombie beavers.
There is a place for those sorts of films. I do get it. Like, I'd be sniffy about them, but like, in the last few months, I fucking watched all the Sharknadoes and all of these. It's like, these are some of the lowest films.
Was that the low part of your lockdown?
But in a way, like, you know what? They've been like great fun. Like, I've loved rewatching all these slashers recently, despite how bad some of them have been, because it's like, it's just people fucking around having a bit of fun, and it's fun when it's horror. It's not fun to me if people just go out of their way to make comedy. Annoying comedies. It's like, no, that's not funny. Like a one-off film that tries to be clever and funny. It's like, no.
It's very interesting.
Was Sharknado the worst ones you watched?
Sharknado, yeah. But by the end of it, it was like, I'm glad I
watched the first one, and I have no desire to watch the second one.
They're so horrible on so many levels, and the people who make them know that they are, and they also joke about the fact that they're terrible. But the thing is, like, why should I be enjoying this, though? It's like someone out in the street punching me, going, I know that you're not enjoying this, but I'm not really this bad person. And it's me going, I know you're not really a bad person, keep punching me.
The thing is with this, it's not a great film, but it's not poorly made either, Jason X.
No, it's not. Certainly
But
isn't.
Sharknado was bad, but poorly made as well.
Yeah.
There's a part I always remember of it. They're in the car, and they're getting flooded by water. And from the outside shot of the car, the water's like over the wheels, and it's quite clearly like that. And they're like in a stream. But then you go into the car, and the water's over the top of the car, and they're all like struggling, and there's sharks swimming around them. And it's like, you just saw the outside shot. That is not the same. There is no possible way that could be the same shot, but they just do it, and they're like, hey, who gives a shit?
But then, see, the thing about that is you go and watch that because you know it's going to be awful on all the levels. So it's like, I want to watch this film because I want to rip it to hell and say how bad it is.
I don't mind a film being bad if it's kind of like been well done, but that's just laziness and stupid. And it's like these are actual professional filmmakers, class of professional filmmakers anyway. I don't want to be that mean to them, but these are people, professionals making professional films to be released.
But don't get it twisted. The effort it takes to make something look as bad as that looks is got to be.
That's just laziness. I don't think they're making it that bad. They're just lazy. They just thought, how can we do this? Oh, we can't really do it like this. Let's just do this. There's
still nothing as unbelievable in any of the Sharknado movies as that moment in Jurassic Park 3 when the raptor says Alan, though.
Yeah, but you got to look fondly on that. That's fun.
You got to look fondly on that.
It's a dream.
But that's another example of something like when sequels get to a point where they go, should we try and do something funny now?
Yes.
The worst film I feel like I still have ever watched is Jurassic Shark.
Haven't seen that one. They took after I tried to see it, and they removed it off Amazon Prime. You can't watch it anymore.
Oh, good. No one deserves to watch that film.
It's been deleted forever.
Don't delete my baby.
Dear me.
Right, should we go to our?
Yes. Let's hear what the fabulous people that like us
the
said.
Twitterverse has to say.
Please.
Okay, so our first review is from Scott Redding, our lovely critic from Filmbusters. He says, it's fucking awesome. Such a fun film. We know he loves that film.
Yes, I saw that
he loves all those slasher films,
I think.
Yes, he gives it a very high rating.
I've been looking at what he rates the films after I've been watching each one. He loves them fucking Chucky films as well.
He loves all slashers, like shit horror films. I think is his.
That's okay. That's good.
Watching horror films is like his thing, isn't it?
That's good. It's a good thing.
Do you agree with him mostly, or?
On all the Chuckies, I do. I think this is too high for this Jason X, but I can't remember what his reviews were on the other Jasons. To be honest, I have to go and check out. But I agree with him totally on all the Chuckies. Next up is the Retro Podcast Massacre, who say, a mate forced me to watch it and it was brilliant. Great fun with pizza and beer. I 100% agree with that, absolutely. Maybe fans would be more positive about it if it wasn't part of Friday the 13th franchise. P.S. The same mate also made me watch Hudson Hawk, also brilliant. That should tell you something about our taste. Anyone seen Hudson Hawk around this table?
I've never seen it.
I've never heard of it.
It's Bruce Willis.
Well, maybe we'll review it one day.
Pizza and a beer, yeah. Like, honestly, if you said to me now, I'm bringing over pizza and beer, do you want to watch Jason X again? I would go, yes. But if you said, I'm coming round, do you want to watch Jason X? I would go, no. It's true. It's true. Pizza and a beer, because you know what kind of thing you're lined up for then. It's like, okay, we're not going to take this too seriously yet.
Do you agree with the part about if it wasn't part of the Friday the 13th franchise?
No, I don't agree with that, actually, because I think the reason it works is because it is Jason and it's gotten that ridiculous. If this was someone you didn't know, I don't think this would be a nothing film. If it wasn't someone you knew. It has to be.
I agree, yeah.
It has to be.
Next one here is from Alexa Loves. More embarrassing than 50 Shades of Grey. Feels more like a fan fiction than a standalone movie.
It is embarrassing. There's some embarrassing things in there. Got to give it to her.
There's better sex scenes than 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
this is the balance. You either go over or you don't, I think.
Yeah. And I think generally speaking, all three of us went with it.
Yeah, I went with it even though I know it's
You've
a bad
got to be prepared to go with it. You can't go into this film expecting not to go with it. You've just got to accept that Jason is going to space. What else can surprise you in this film?
I am going to challenge you on something in a second once we finish these reviews, though, both of you.
Okay. Our next review is from Ryan L. Terry. He says, single best kill in the Friday the 13th Jason franchise. That liquid nitrogen kill is epic. Totally agree.
I think we touched on that, didn't we?
Yes,
all right.
We did.
Greg from Park Journey. Easily one of the most underrated horror sequels of all time. I would agree with that too.
The next one here is from Yankee 007. Maybe She should be doing James Bond with all the franchises here.
Yeah.
Some great moments, but I feel like the New Line Cinema took all the awesome concepts that were better on paper than they actually were and executed on film. Like the Freddy versus Jason and Jason Goes to Hell could have gone further, in my opinion.
It's true, they could have gone further. They could have gone further on all of those films, yes.
Would you want more films from, if it was Jason, if there was a whole film of him as Uber Jason just on Earth, just flashing people up, would you have gone for it?
Yeah, I mean, if they said now we're releasing the next Jason, like I would continue to watch these films forever, and even when it gets to a point where
Would
I
you
say
pay to go to the cinema to see him?
Depends on the circumstances. Put it this way, you know how much I hated the Child's Play remake. I was thinking after I rewatched it today, if they did Child's Play 2, I would see it, I would watch it.
You wouldn't necessarily go to cinema to see it?
No, but I would either pay to stream it or pay to own it. Either way, I would pay money so that I could.
It's the curiosity, isn't it?
It's the curiosity. It's those characters, and it's like maybe they could surprise me. Maybe they could go, okay, that was just setting you
Not
up.
Not killing people for 2-pack anymore.
And our last review is from Colour Positive Movies, and they say it's my favourite one. There you go. It's your second favourite, Ben, isn't it?
No. Would you like me to tell you my order?
Okay. Yes.
My number 1 is Part 2, then number 2 is Friday the 13th, then number 3 is Part 3, and number 4 is Part 6, then Freddy vs. Jason, and then Jason X.
Oh, so it is the least favourite?
No, because there's 6 more films after that.
Oh, okay, right, okay, yeah.
So, and they're the good 6. Like, there's a good 6, and then there's a bad 6. Although Jason Takes Manhattan, which is after Jason X, is kind of fun. So there's 7 good ones and 5 bad ones, and it's the 6 out of the 7 good ones.
Interesting. It's just on the borderline.
Yes. Now, boys, the question I wanted to just quickly ask you. In fact, let's do which characters we are.
Okay. You can be Jason because I know you want to kill those girls.
Lovely, thank you.
You want him to smash them up in the sleeping bags.
What sort of person you think I am?
You wanted to do that.
You're very bad about me.
And then me and Adam are going to be the robot, and the other one making love to the robot.
Do you know what? That's so accurate. That is who you two are.
But it's up to you to pick who's who.
Adam's nipples can fall off.
No, Adam, you're the robot for sure. Paul, more than anyone in this film, you are that
I'm probably
guy.
the only person on screen who's probably killed Jason in that, and as long as he did die for.
Well, I chopped your head off, so you know.
And Paul then fucked my head.
Oh shit! That was in the outtakes.
That was in Jason X Rated.
Yes.
I'm going to take just Paul to task on this because Adam gave this film a 5. Paul, you believed The Meg to be better than this film.
See.
They're on the same.
You do, because you've given
surely.
it a 6. And the reason I bring this up is because The Meg is exactly the kind of film we were talking about. A standalone film that goes, we're going to try and be silly here.
Okay, well, this is exactly the thing you're talking about, because I think that The Meg's probably better made than Jason X, but I probably would watch Jason X over The Meg.
Okay, all right, I'll let that slide then. Yeah, fair enough.
He's gone into battle and been smashed down at the first.
But don't get me wrong, there's just enough stupid things in The Meg as there is in Jason X.
Yes, yeah. Okay, very good. Adam?
Yes.
The thing that you must answer is this your worst film of the year? No, Jesus Rolls is.
Yes.
So is this better or worse than a Serbian film, the only other film you gave a 5?
This is better.
Well,
Silly boy.
That's something. And Paul, I guess, since we've heard you've upgraded Gentleman to a 6, this is your second worst film as well, with the Jesus Rolls being the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking, man. Quite shocking. Although I look at my own personal here, and it's Jason X is better than Jesus Rolls, but it ain't better than Martyrs or Burning. So it's my second worst. So it's the second worst for all of us.
Wow.
But it doesn't deserve the second worst.
No, it doesn't, does it? Because actually we spoke very kindly on it.
You know what it's like? It's like the football team that gets relegated, but they played well all season, and you feel a bit sorry for them getting relegated.
That's
nothing
right.
like it.
But you
Nothing
know
like
they're
it,
not
mate.
quite good enough to play with the big boys.
I don't want you to even bring up football.
Listen here then.
Are we placing this film?
So we just took a quick break and we can place this film. And I'm very sorry to say that Jason X places in the bottom 5 films of all time reviewed on Filmbusters Pod.
Really?
Which feels very harsh considering that we weren't very negative about it.
So Jesus Rolls is bottom.
Yes. And then...
Tomb Raider.
That's correct.
Meg.
Yeah, it's a 4.3, the Meg, which is good. So it's below Jason X. I'm happy with that.
I'm trying to think what's the one below that would be.
I don't think you'll get this next one because it's a bit of a curveball. Paul might get it.
Shazam?
Okay, no. It is. The next one is 3 from Hell.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jason X. And I stand by that. I would say Jason X is better than all 4 of those films. Not Jesus.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's better than Jesus Rolls, yeah.
Yes.
Ben, it's a lot better than Jesus Rolls.
And the film that sits above it...
At least it has a storyline.
Yeah. Venom and Shazam are above it. And...
They're both better than this. I agree. They're both better than the
Shazam, maybe, not Venom.
Yes. And I look terribly on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom being above it. That makes no sense to me at all.
Would you say this is a better film than Green Book?
Yes. I enjoyed it more than Green Book.
I enjoyed this more than Green Book.
Yeah. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That is exactly the quote that needs to go in front of the podcast.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this more than Green Book.
Yeah, definitely. That needs to be a quote.
Right, so that was a beautiful episode. Very nice talking about Jason X. Before we finish this episode off, we got a lovely little thing to say. Next episode, we have our friend Danny coming on to talk about his film. We don't know what it is. It's not his film personally. He didn't make the film, but it's his choice. And we have a little audio recording, and we're going to play it now. Let's see what it is.
So, hey guys, this is Danny, and the film this week I'm really excited about. I really love this film. There's so many different layers to this film that I want to talk about. It's an action film. It's a bit of a thriller to a degree. You can look at it that way in certain respects, but you if it was done differently, there's so many ways this film could have been done. There's a pop star in it, or former pop star, but he's a pretty good actor to be fair, and there's a model in it, so it's like it's not your conventional 2 leading characters, and it's set in this kind of, oh my god, like this post-apocalyptic time. This film is in time. Come on.
Wow, I actually did not expect that pick.
I've never seen this film at all. I only know Justin
I've never
Timberlake's
seen
in
it. I've never heard of it.
I don't know what to expect. But it's Danny, so I'm expecting big things. Listeners, Danny will have some deep stuff to say about whatever we're talking about. So I'm expecting
You
high
thought
things.
we went deep.
Yes.
This is going to go beyond deep.
It is. I watched this film a long time ago. Can't remember it. I'm not going to reveal my score. But, fresh eyes on it. Let's see what's going to happen.
Fresh eyes and all that. In time, Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
We're going to do a Justin Timberlake film on Filmbusters Pod.
Well.
What other Justin Timberlake films would you say you've seen that you like?
Social Network.
Alpha Dog's good.
What's the one he's in with Mila Kunis?
Bad Teacher.
Oh, yes.
No, Bad Teacher. That's Cameron Diaz. Horrible film.
It's,
Friends with Benefits.
Friends with Benefits, yeah.
He's done a lot of guff.
Of course he has.
Let's hope this breaks the mould.
Let's hope we're in sync for the next episode.
Oh, shit. Well done. Shall I wrap this episode up?
That's the one time you make that in sync joke that makes sense. Yeah, wrap it up, please.
Okay. You can get in touch with us on @FilmbustersPod on Instagram and Twitter. You can also go to our website, www.filmbusterspod.co.uk. All our podcast episodes are on there, as well as some fantastic reviews from us and our in-house critics. You can also get to our personal Twitter accounts. I am at Filmbusters. Jason, I've taken it.
I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
And I'm at Filmbusters Tommy Jarvis.
Who the fuck's Tommy Jarvis?
Oh, yeah. Google it.
Tommy Jarvis. Oh.
Corey Feldman played him in Friday the 13th Part 4, and then Tommy Jarvis went on to be in a bunch.
Age 12, age 17, age 18, age 37.
Yeah, there's
That's
lots of Jarvises. There's so many Jarvises.
That's all Tommy Jarvis, though, apparently. It's all the same character.
There's many Jarvises, yeah, different
And it's all played by
actors.
different actors.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You can even play as him in the video game, in the Friday the 13th video game.
oh, fantastic.
If any of our listeners play that game, hit me up. I want to play online with you.
Oh, here we go.
That was just tumbleweed.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Tales Master.